Yo, how's it going everybody? It's me, Arctic. Today's video we're going to be going over a complete artifact guide for Yelan. Now I wanted to start off with artifacts because I think artifacts is going to be the main thing that people are actually going to be having questions about. But choosing artifacts is going to actually be relatively straightforward considering that Yelan scales most of her damage, if not all of it, with HP percent. In terms of the artifacts main stats that you're going to be looking for on Yelan, I definitely think that HP timepiece is going to be what you're going to want because energy recharge is only really going to be good if you are going for like an emblem set build, but we're going to be talking about more about emblem set later in the video. Wanting a crit damage hat because that's going to factor in with her overall damage a lot more than if you were running like an HP set. And then you're going to be wanting to go with a hydro damage goblet because that's going to be boosting out her damage overall, so that's what you're going to be wanting to go for at mid-main stats with Yelan. Pretty much HP is the only thing that actually matters for her damage, so I think base attack doesn't matter at all because all of her damage multipliers are actually HP multipliers, so we literally can ignore like attack and that kind of stats completely by focusing on crit stats and like damage bonuses. I'm going to start off with talking about the Wanderer's Troop set, and the reason why I bring this up is because its first stat right here is Elemental Mastery at 80, so Elemental Mastery could actually end up being really good on Yelan considering that she is actually a Hydro Applicator and sub DPS primarily, but Yelan also has some good charge attack damage because she does have a special charge attack that she can use about every 5 seconds pretty much. And so you are definitely going to be able to get some good damage out of this 4-piece. The Noblesse Oblige artifact set, this one is going to actually be pretty good in the 2 and 4-piece set. 4-piece is very good if you are going for like team support. You can use her as your like Noblesse user in your team. Although I would recommend using like a healer as a Noblesse kind of, because then you can pretty much put on like better damage artifacts onto your main character. But the 2-piece of the elemental burst damage is actually going to be pretty good, especially paired with some of the other artifact sets later on. Third Strayer 4-piece is an option to consider, especially if you are trying to go for like increased crit rate. But Yelan does actually ascend with crit rate, so this isn't as valuable of a set, I would say. But she can utilize it since she is a Hydro. If you're running like cryo supports, you can utilize this occasionally. As a reminiscence set, I would say the set is pretty still usable, even though it does have an attack percent as its 2-piece bonus right here. Really what you're looking for is the 4-piece on this, but you are sacrificing that energy for like increased normal charged and plunging attack damage. But Yelan doesn't really do too much actual like charge attack damage beyond just her occasional charge attack, special charge attack that she gets every like 5 seconds, but you're not really going to be able to do more than like one, I think, of these charge attacks within that time frame, because she also only refreshes that when she's like off field or does specific stuff with her kits. Like I believe you can like reduce it, but you have to actually have your ult up, so this is honestly going to get in the way of that quite a bit. This might only be good if people are testing out for like a nuke damage with Yelan's charge attack. That's the only way I could see this actually being something to use. But generally, I would not really recommend this artifact set. The Retracing Bowlight 2 and 4-piece. The 4-piece is actually going to be really good if you are like not necessarily using a Wanderer's Troop set and you don't really need that like extra elemental mastery. I think the extra 5% of that normal and charge attack damage is going to be pretty okay. Plus increases shield strength by 35%. If you are running like shielding supports, could end up being saving your character's life at some point in the game. But Yelan does have like high HP, so especially if you are running her with like a large amount of HP, so I don't know if I can really recommend this set too much. City of the middle of the set, this is actually going to be probably one of the go-to sets for Yelan, just because it has a 2-piece that increases your HP by 20%. It's very, very good if you want to pair that up with like a 2-piece of some other set like Noblesse Oblige. It can work pretty nicely with that, or you could even go with like a 2-piece of the Wanderer's Troop for that elemental mastery. There's quite a few options. You could even go like a 2-piece emblem, get 20% energy recharge also. That would honestly be a pretty solid combo, I would say. But this is going to increase your HP by 20%, but the 4-piece, you pretty much don't want this on Yelan because it's not really going to give you any more benefits. It's just a waste of a 4-piece. Yeah, and then Emblem of Severed Fate, I think this is probably going to be one of her best like sub DPS damage sets, just because energy recharge is going to be really nice, and you can run like an energy recharge bow or something like that. Sacrificial Fragment bow, I think. Sacrificial bow is going to be probably a pretty solid option to use on her. But yeah, this basically converts your energy recharge into elemental burst damage, and her elemental burst damage is actually going to be pretty high considering it does scale off her max HP and has quite a few damage instances, so it's definitely a nice set to consider. The Heart of Depth set I think is honestly going to be one of her better overall sets. Just because it has a good like 2-piece right here, boosts out like pretty much her whole kit's damage, but then the 4-piece is also going to boost out your normal and charge attack damage by 30%, plus it doesn't actually have an energy recharge kind of drawback like the Shimenawa's Reminiscence set has. 2 pieces that I can recommend, definitely a 2-piece of the Tenacity of the Millilith is what you're going to want to go for because of the HP increase. It basically boosts out her whole entire damage. Then 2-piece of like Emblem of Severed Fate, and then like a 2-piece of the Heart of Depth. That's going to give you 15% more Hydra damage. So I think 2-piece Heart of Depth and then 2-piece of the Tenacity of the Millilith is going to be her best in slot sets. Video like down below is very much appreciated, and also expect a Yelan weapons guide coming up at some point. Once I actually get a little bit more of the videos out, I have to make like a few Kugi Shinobi videos before that happens. But anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I will see you guys in the next one. Farewell.